Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to make something crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in the coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to open the coffin due to the weight upon the lid. It is so heavy, you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but it's not budging. It's not moving. You don't know which way to turn. You just think you're going to die. But then you think maybe if I bang on the lid, it'll unsettle that heavy dirt, and maybe, just maybe, somebody on top might notice and start digging their way down to help me. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help, you don't know where to go, but you know that you need someone to help you today. In reality, there are probably people standing by your grave. You just don't know that. You just wait for death to arrive. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. With this, I'll leave one last thought with you. Don't be the person I'm reading about in the court that waited way too long and is now asking for help. Instead, be a person that is right now watching me and saying, I need help with my depression. I need help with my low self-esteem. I need help with my alcohol and drug addiction or any other problems you have. Call me at 844-405-HELP, and I will help you take your life back before your life is gone. Folks, there are people like Larry Geis from the Geis Academy. You can find him at 516-458-2741. Larry Geis is an addiction recovery coach. He's a life coach. He and I always tell folks like you, it doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter how you got here. What matters is that you are here asking for help. What matters is you're not like that person laying in a coffin now looking for help. What matters is you have a pulse that's still working. You're breathing. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, 516-458-2741. You can Google him at www.theodysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis has over 30 years experience, folks. He will help you from your addiction to your recovery, from your low self-esteem to raise your self-esteem, from your depression to happier times. But what you need to do is you need to get in touch with Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, 516-458-2741. Let Larry Geis help you take back your life before your life is gone. Folks, I always talk about a certain topic, and what I just recently saw on television, I believe it was on one of the sport channels, is how many athletes are involved in performance-enhancing drugs. They are so competitive with each other that they need to take drugs to enhance their muscles, to build up. And it's a sad situation, because it used to be when I was growing up that sports was utilized through talent, not by artificial talent, which I choose to call artificial talent, which is performance-enhancing drugs. So let me talk about performance-enhancing drugs and their side effects. Typically, a substance or a method is considered to be performance-enhancing when, number one, has a potential to enhance or enhances sport performance, or number two, when it represents an actual potential health risk to an athlete. While the list of performance-enhancing substances is very long, and I'll only briefly discuss these, please listen to some of the most harmful abuse categories of substance used by athletes. The anabolic hormones. These substances promote muscle growth to the body. Therapeutic doses of anabolic hormones such as testosterone can be an important part of a doctor's medical treatment plan for some patients with muscle wasting diseases like muscular dystrophy or AIDS. Our bodies produce as much testosterone as they need. In order for an anabolic steroid to add muscle mass, the amount of testosterone in the body must be increased by 1,000 to 15,000%. Peptide hormones, growth factors, and related substances. The primary medical use of these compounds vary, but include the treatment of cancer or aiding those born prematurely. Examples of these types of substances include human growth hormone, which stimulates growth and cell reproduction and regeneration in humans and other animals. Erythropoietin, which aids in the production of oxygen-carrying red blood cells in the body, and insulin, which help regulate carbohydrate and fat metabolism in the body. These substances happen naturally in the human body, but also produced synthetically, providing an edge for those who wish to cheat and go against Mother Nature. Beta-2 agnostics. The primary medical use of these compounds is to treat conditions such as asthma or other respiratory ailments. Some studies have shown that beta-2 agonists can have performance-enhancing effects similar to stimulants. Diuretics. Diuretics expel water from the body, and the athlete needs to meet water restrictions may be tempted to use them. The primary medical use of these compounds is to treat conditions such as hypertension, kidney disease, and congestive heart failure. Taken without medical supervision, use of these substances can result in potassium depletion and possibly even death. Masking agents. These substances are used to prevent the detection of other class drugs. An example would include the use of epitrostone, used to restore testosterone and epitrosterone ratio, a common criterion in steroid testing, to normal levels of anabolic steroid supplementation. Stimulants. These substances are often used to stimulate the body and mind to perform optimal levels by increasing focus, energy, and aggression. The primary medical use of these substances is to treat conditions such as attention deficit disorder, asthma, narcolepsy, and obesity. Examples of stimulants include caffeine, amphetamines, and methamphetamines. Narcotics. These substances are often used to mask pain so that athletes can continue to compete and perform beyond their usual threshold. In small doses, narcotics have medical uses in relieving severe pain and inducing sleep. However, narcotics are often misused due to the psychological stimulation and sensation of euphoria associated with their use. Cannabinoids, otherwise known as marijuana. Cannabinoids are legal in many jurisdictions and states and can have many dangerous side effects for athletes, including slowed coordination and reaction time, distorted sense of time and space, and increased heart rate also. For more information on substance and methods prohibited in sport, visit www.usada.org/substances. Warning signs and side effects. Doping has many short-term and long-term risks. Here are a few that many serious consequences an athlete may experience. Possible health effects include liver disease, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, increased or flared acne on the body, sexual side effects, weakening of the immune system, seizures, nausea, tremors, increased risk of stroke, heart attack, and cardiac arrhythmia. Signs that your athlete may be using performance-enhancing drugs. Sudden changes in overall physical experience. They look like the Incredible Hulk. Sudden shift in performance level, up or down. Psychological dependence. Severe or unexplained mood swings. Emotional outbursts. Decreased motivation. Diminished self-esteem or self-confidence. Loss of memory. Decreased attention span. Insomnia. Nervousness, anxiety, change in peer group, loss of relationships and social support, decreased respect for peers and colleagues, changes in social habits, peer groups, habits, segregative behavior, intervention and prevention. Talk about your expectations. Have an open discussion with the athletes about performance-enhancing substances so that it's not a taboo topic you never talk about. Stay connected. Have an open conversation where you're actively listening to your athletes. If your athletes aren't comfortable talking with you, it'd be hard to help them. Communicate and educate. Use real-world events in the news media as teachable moments for your athletes to educate them on what happened and why, the legal problems and the seriousness to regard to cheating and ethics. Know when to step in. Discuss your concerns with the athlete and his or her parents, and offer assistance in getting outside help to support if necessary. performing enhancing drugs and their side effects. Remember, they're typically a substance or method considered to be performance enhancing when, one, it has potential to enhance sport performance, and number two, when it represents an actual potential health risk. I want you to please write these signs down here. Warning signs and side effects for these things. Here are possible health effects. Think about these now. I'm going to say them slowly. Liver disease. That could be terminal. Cardiovascular disease. Another terminal one. High blood pressure. Treatable but untreatable, terminal. Increased or flared acne on the body. Sexual side effects. Weakening of the immune system. That could really kill you. Seizures. Nausea. Tremors. Increased risk of stroke. Heart attack. Cardiac arrhythmia. Signs that your athlete might be using a performance-enhancing drugs are sudden change in overall physical appearance. They're becoming very bulky, very muscular. Sudden shift in performance. Suddenly they're either playing out of the ordinary slow or out of the ordinary at a high rapid speed. Psychological dependence. Increased aggression and anxiety. They show aggression. Severe unexplained mood swings. Emotional outbursts. Decreased motivation. Diminish self-esteem and self-confidence. Suddenly they have a loss of memory. Decreased attention span. Not sleeping very well. Suddenly they're very nervous. Very anxious. Change in peer group. They hang around with different people out of the ordinary. Loss of relationships and social support. Decreased respect for peers and colleagues. Changes in social habits, peer groups and habits. Secretive behavior. Intervention and prevention. Talk about your expectations with them. Have an open discussion with the athletes about performance-enhancing substances so that it's not a taboo topic you never talk about. You also need to stay connected. Have open conversations where you actively listen to your athletes. If your athletes aren't comfortable talking with you, it'd be hard to help them. You also need to communicate and educate them. Use real-world events in the news and media as teachable moments for your athletes to help educate them on what happened and why it happened, and the legal problems and seriousness regard to their enhancing drug usage. And you also need to know when to step in. Discuss your concerns with the athlete and his or her parents, and find out any support that you can to help them, and help them soon, because you don't want to let them get too far into it. Like I said in the beginning of this segment, in the old days it was your pure talent that got you to college on the scholarship, that got you to play on the JV or varsity team. There was no such thing as enhancing drugs. Matter of fact, me growing up, there were hardly drugs being used, and if there were, certainly wasn't in my peer group. But the bottom line is, the world has changed. We're in a different time. It is up to us, parents, grandparents, teachers, coaches, to support our athletes, to educate them, to let them know that it's not acceptable to enhance their bodies by using enhanced drugs. I hope to God, no matter where you're watching me, that you all have a great day, that you have a sober day, that you don't use any drugs, and you don't need to build your body with muscle, extra muscle, by using enhanced drugs. Please, if you're a parent, grandparent, coach, sponsor, leader, educate, educate, educate. That's the most important thing. That's how I use these videos as my rehab every day. I educate myself. Although I read this to you, my audience, it is absorbed here. Don't forget, I had to get the material, so I read it at least 3-4 times today. Let today be the first day of your new life. Let today be the first day that you accept your talent and your body the way God gave it to you. There is no need to use any sort of drug to change that. And may God bless each and every one of you.